Okay, so recap. What did we do last time? Last time we just jumped straight in. I had a look around the Microsoft Flow site quickly, went straight to my flows, created 2 flows. It was really easy to use, and yeah, from there I kind of just wanted to basically get something going, but now this is going to be a more organized approach. I'm going to actually break down the site more, talk about approvals, what else you can do, what connectors are, what data is, etc. Go through each of the buttons, and yeah, let's see. Okay, awesome. So we're on the home screen again. Let's have a look in more detail about what we actually have here. So we've got some template collections here. We've got a search bar which we can actually search for connectors and templates straight off the bat. If we have a look at one of these templates, go into it, see what's actually there, we can see what we can do with it. So automate mundane software development tasks. Sounds great. What can we actually do with that? So we can open a bug in VSTS and notify the team. Straight off the bat, it's been used 154 times. It's a really great little feature I like that they've put on here to show you what others are doing. So it gives you a lot of information. It gives you all of the popular connectors in that area, and you can actually proceed and start flows straight out, exactly what you want to in whatever you want to actually focus on. So then you've got all the services. So they've still got 236 services, still a load of different services. You've got all the popular ones listed straight here. If we click on see all, we can look at the popular ones, look at the recently added ones. Some are premium and some are not. And then you've got a list of all the connectors you want. You can go with MailChimp if you're doing like a massive mail campaign and you want to send notifications to people. You've got your weather applications, etc. It's where you basically get all your data from and start your actual flow. And let's then move down to the multi-step flows information section. So it gives you a lot of information. You've got a learn more button there. I'm not going to click on that in a moment, but you can go in, you can actually learn how to create more complex flows there. You've got approve requests, adding conditions. I said this before in the last video. It's just some information there to help you get going. And then you've got your templates. So it's broken down into featured emails, productivity notifications, data collection, social media. From there you can just basically find all of the like most used templates really that are going to allow you to get the most out of your productivity. As I said before, they've got this little, as I've just putting my mouse down there, it's got this little used so much times. It's been used 123,301 times, this Save Office 365 email attachments to OneDrive for Business. So you can see what others are doing in the community and what others are doing with their businesses, and it will allow you to, well, work less, do more. So then we've got just some information about what people feel about it and what they've been doing with it, etc. So that was the home page. It's a bit more detail than last time, and I'm going to go on to approvals now. Okay, so now we're on to approvals. So you're on client site. You're also the person that manages several customers, you're managing teams, you're managing people, employees, all of that. You get a sick approval come through, you get a holiday approval come through, you get something that needs your approval on a customer. How do you deal with all of these approvals that you need to get through? Well, Flow allows you to do that, and while that sounds great, I'm going to be looking into this in depth in the next video, but right now let's just have a look at what we can actually see on the page and what it actually gives you straight up. So we have the create approval flow, and we have to see how it works, which is basically a video of it. We also have the start approval process when a new item is added. We have send approval with a follow-up email, send response for approval, etc. These are all templates that are right there, waiting for you to start. You also have sent approvals that you can follow up. Obviously I've got none here at the moment. The received, and also you then have a history of all of the approval process that goes through, what's been accepted, what's been dismissed, etc. Right, so let's have a look at my flows then. So last time I created a couple of flows here, as you can see, modified 2 days ago, which was when I did my first introduction video. So last time what I did was I just clicked on new and just jumped straight into it, created from template, changed some stuff, and that's how we got to where we were. I didn't really actually talk about much that actually went on here, so let's have a look at what's going on. So I can click on send myself a reminder. You can actually run it directly from the website. You don't actually have to go through your application on your mobile phone. So let's try and do that. So bam, click run. Your flow is successfully started. Go to the flow activity. You can see there that I ran one 6 minutes ago, and I've just run one now. It's successfully passed. It only took 5 seconds to run. It will now come through on my phone, and that's it basically. It's really easy to do, really easy to run from your computer. You can then edit. As you can see, we've got the actual flow interface here. We've got the little flow blocks that we can modify our stuffing. We can change the timing in, we can change the text. So if we go back to my flows, I don't have any team flows, but you can actually make some flows to go through your teams. You can have some for the business processes. You can then obviously import some from the communities. So if you created a flow and you wanted to export one out to your friends, to colleagues, you can then just give them the file, and it will go in a little zip file, and then you can just bam, upload, and you can share your flow instantaneously. Really, it allows you to do some check-in, like if you have testers in your team and you want to test the flows out, you want to make sure they're working before you offer them up to business partners. If you wanted to have your own like test environment, you could use it for that. So it's really good. I'm really enjoying the layout at the moment. We've got the drop down button as well, which allows you to do the export there. As I said before, you can actually export it in a Logic Apps template as well as in JSON, other than just zip. You can turn off the flows. You can see the analytics, the run history, all the details. You can even send a copy as a preview, which is awesome. Okay, so that's my flow. Right, so let's move on to templates. So templates are previously created flows by Microsoft or the Flow community. It allows you to basically get some fundamental building blocks for your flows if you're first starting out and you're looking for somewhere to actually just jump right in. As you see in my previous video, we just created a flow from a template. We did some modifications for what I wanted it for, and I had a flow in a matter of minutes. So this will be a really good solid foundation for people that just need something quick, or need some building blocks to get started with. They have hundreds of them, absolutely hundreds of them. You can jump to email to sort by all the stuff that's going to go to your Outlook, your mail app. You've got your social media stuff. You've got the have I been pwned flow notification, so you can scan an RSS feed, see if you've actually had your details leaked on the internet. For the more security conscious people, you've got the approvals, as we've said before. We was looking at the approvals section, which we'll come back to in our next video. And it's a really awesome feature about Microsoft Flow is that you have these building blocks that you can work with, and you've got so many different stuff that you can just jump right in with. I mean, it even allows you to do a basic flow in with Visio. It's a really strong feature, I feel, and a really key selling point for Flow is that you can actually learn by others. You can learn and see what others in the community are doing, and as we said before, you can export your flow to the community. They can have a look, they can use that as a building block as well, and it's a really solid foundation. Okay, so we've looked at what kind of templates there are. Let's actually have a look in depth at a certain template. As previously, we did this in my original jump in without any knowledge video, but let's take a moment just to actually analyze what's actually going on. So when you first click on a template, it gives you some information about what triggers it, and what's actually going to occur. There's a delay in notification, for example, in this one. It says what your flow is actually going to need connections to. So if you've got Twitter, it'll show up here. You'll have to connect your account. So then if you click on the create flow, you will be presented with a page with the owners of the actual flow, the connections, the run history, manage run users, so you can have a couple of users that can actually run the flow but can't actually modify it. You can see other templates there, and you can also then click on edit at the top right. So then you get presented again with your block section. Allows you to manage your input, and so you can add a comment here, for example, saying push button on phone. So we know that this is going to be a button on our phone that we're going to push. You can add an additional input. You can have yes, no, email, numbers, dates, files, text, etc. You can then have delays. You have an option of selecting your units, which ranges from months to seconds. You can enter custom values, and then as an example on this one, you've got your push notification, which allows you to modify that. So your general structure will be built for you in your template, and then you can add to it, you can remove from it, and then all you have to do is hit save. And once that's done, you can go back to my flows and it will be there. You can also modify the name of the flow at the top left corner, and then if you just hit my flows, you can see the send myself a reminder in 10 minutes one that we modified 13 seconds ago. And that's one of the key features here about the templates, is it's so easy to get in, get started with, and actually start learning the fundamentals of flow. Right, so let's look at the connectors section. The connectors section basically has the connections that allow you to connect your flow to third-party or Microsoft Stack applications, for ranging from Office 365, Outlook, to Twitter, to Facebook, to GitHub. It allows you to connect to things like Adobe Sign. So if you're trying to create a flow that accepts a signature that then passes through to some other Power Platform type of application, you could do that on your phone, hit the flow, hit go, get the signature, get it signed, send it up to wherever you need it to get sent up to. And obviously that's going to be helpful for a lot of businesses out there. It's going to be helpful for anyone that wants to do something that would require a signature. It connects to a lot of stuff. For example, GitHub, if you're you want to check commits, you want to check people have actually committed, people have actually commented, any bugs raised, for example, anything like that. So this is a really short section really, because I just wanted to show you all of the different connections. There was 236, I believe, that's already integrated, but this isn't just it. You can actually create your own, and let's move on to the data section to have a look at that. Okay, so we're moving on to the data section. The data section has 4 separate sections. I'm on the home page because when you click on the first section, entities, it will take you to the Power Apps website. Now, I don't know much about Power Apps, so I'm not going to talk about that in a moment, but I just wanted to show you what happens when you click on that. Let's then move on to the connections. So the connections section will load all of the connections I currently have connected to my actual Flow account. You can add new connections here by just selecting whatever one you want to do. As we spoke about before, is Adobe Sign if you wanted to do that. And then let's go on to the custom connectors then. So the custom connectors is where you can create your own connector. It says that all you need is access to a REST API. Now, my next video I'm going to start looking more in depth at approvals, but the video after that I'm going to actually create my own custom connector. I'm going to try and find something that's not been done before, do some REST API requests, and actually start looking into what I can do from creating a blank custom connector. So I'm not going to focus too much on this now. I'm just going to show you what's here. So just on the top right, you've got your create from blank. You can import open API files from URLs, from actual files, or import a Postman collection. And then the last but not least is gateways. So If you've got on-premise data, you can actually create a new gateway and set it up and use your apps anywhere, basically, and use your information anywhere. But obviously that doesn't really apply to myself. I'm not going to be looking to do that, but I just wanted to give you a look at that. So just to recap on what the data does, Entities takes you to the Power Apps website. The connection shows you what you've actually connected to so far. So as you can see here, my OneDrive for Business, I've got Joe at flowjoe.onmicrosoft.com, and then I've got the custom connectors where you can make your own connectors, and then you've got your gateway if that is something you're looking to do. Right, so the last section, and not the least section, is Microsoft Learn. Once you click on the Learn tab, it will open up the Microsoft Learn website. It has an automate a business process using a Microsoft Flow. If you click on that, you get taken to a learning path which will allow you to follow a guide through to help you on your first Microsoft Flow. It then goes into more complex flows and using the admin center, etc., which will allow you to build your skills. I'm starting to go through this at the moment. I'm really enjoying it. But there is also another section that Learn button does not actually take you to. If you go to the docs.microsoft.com/en-us/flow, I'll put the link at the bottom of the video, you get presented with this page, which is the Microsoft Flow documentation. If you're a beginner, you can select certain sections that allows you to jump straight into where you need to be. If you're more intermediate, etc., you've got troubleshooting your flows, how to collaborate on a team flow. If you're an expert, you can learn to use REST APIs, and if you're an admin, you can then jump into the even more advanced sections and help manage your flow runs. So that's about it for the UI section of Microsoft Flow. It's a bit more detailed than my first video. I've gone through the entire website. So the next video, we're going to start looking at more nitty-gritty stuff. We're going to start looking at the approvals, how we can actually create some approval flows to help us with our day-to-day work life and the business that you're working for, and just you in general. Okay, so just a little recap. We had a look at the Microsoft Flow website in more detail than I did in my first video, where I just jumped straight in. We went through all the different sections, what you can use them for, how you can use them. So we need to get more into detail now in our next videos. We're going to have a look at the approvals section first, create some flows, how it can help you and your business. And then after that, I'm going to start looking at custom connectors, trying to create a connector to something that's not actually been done before, and we'll see where it goes from there. See ya.